Nina, that was an incredibly, powerful beginning of the conversation where we really talked about, the impact that this topic is having on us, right? This burnout topic. And we talked about our experiences, we talked about our triggers, we talked about, some of the manifestations in our life. So I think people have heard enough about that. I wanna ask you a question as we pivot the conversation to how do I cope? Right. If we wanted to leave people with some advice on how do I cope with this burnout topic. So I want to start with a question. So as active, driven, motivated people, ambitious people, some may say, how do we think about navigating life and burnout?
Mm. Well, for me, it's about, I talked earlier about finding the thing on the inside, that intrinsic thing that you're like, okay, you talked about your value, but finding the routine or the thing that goes back, that you go back to each time so that you know, oh, if I do these three things, this is my trifecta for peace, my trifecta for, getting settled and starting to rebuild my mindset a little bit more, something to refuel me. For me, I mean, both of us, we are spiritual on the call, right? So for me, it really is about tapping into my own personal spirituality routine. I get up early in the morning. I definitely meditate and pray. And from there, I then journal because that's allowing me to get all of my feels out of the way. And then I can't say that I've done a great job at it this year, but usually there's some activity that happens, whether that's some stretching, whether that is going for a walk, whether that is running. I used to love boxing, so I would box in the morning. And that would fuel me on so many different levels, but it also helped to clear my mind and bring me back to center, remembering what is important. Just having those routines that are simple, but those are things that I enjoy. So it shouldn't be a chore. It shouldn't be something that you dread doing. It is something that you actually wake up and are like, okay, yeah, let me get the day started. Some people are not morning people. I get that. But for me, it's early morning. And if if I don't do that, I am a completely different individual. Uh, there was I had an assistant who dubbed the term Mina, and I recognized that Mina showed up when Mina didn't get enough rest, when Mina didn't meditate, when Mina didn't do the journaling, like when Mina didn't do the things in the morning, she showed up, right? When Nina didn't do the things in the morning, Mina showed up. So it's I haven't had a Mina moment really recently, but she's still there sometimes. She's still there.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this is where the hard part begins because this is where discipline enters the chat, right?
Mm,
It is very easy to spiral. I think sometimes we think that because we're carrying so much, that's why we spiral. And to fill the backpack with the rocks and the burdens of life can take time. That's actually very easy. If you never let go of anything, if you never have to deal with what it means to give up anything or recalibrate something, then you just end up carrying stuff around. So this is where discipline matters. And to have that mirror moment where you're looking at yourself and being honest about what you can control, honest about what you can impact, honest about how you showing up affects others around you. Like it's a real, real, real issue. And so, unless we're able to take stock as a busy, motivated, driven person, unless you're able to pause and truly take stock of where you are, your risk of burnout just remains incredibly high. And that's the truth. I grew up in a time, corporate American, and you know this, where working long hours and spending, I remember coming into work, 5:30 a.m.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
I would jump out of bed 3:30, 3:45 in the morning, hit the shower, bust out the house, race to the office like something
Yes.
was burning down, to be in my chair by 5:30. We used to joke who would get there first, who would get there first. And our good friend Diana, and others would hustle to make it. And then I remember not leaving the office till 7,
7, sometimes
right
8.
at night. Yeah.
Yes.
And it's like, man, what was I doing? Where was the discipline to say, James, are you at your best? James, are you able to be what you need to be to all parties with this type of schedule? And it was really and truly just a lack of discipline, because that's going to sound strange, because I felt very disciplined and regimented. But as I think about the totality of who I was and who I needed to be, I was playing with fire, and ultimately fire bit me. So
Yeah, I
I
think also, James, I think it's just environmental, meaning that was the
mm,
environment at the time. And so instead of you putting parameters and boundaries in place it within the environment, you allowed the environment to control and consume you. So when it comes to, taking back your own mental health, personal health, spiritual health, whatever that is, boundaries are important. So setting boundaries are not just for other people, they are for yourself. They are to protect your
mm,
time, protect your energy, protect how you show up in the world. So you saying I wasn't really disciplined, it's like, no, I just didn't set boundaries, right? I didn't set boundaries. Same with
mm,
me. I talked about ulcers back in the day, right? I just didn't set boundaries. And
yep,
then setting boundaries
yep.
became a challenge because you want to go and do and be all things to all people. And then it's like, no, at 5 o'clock, I'm out. And this thing will be here tomorrow. It's not going anywhere. And the business isn't going to collapse because of it.
That is, again, it's where discipline enters the picture. And so, as you think about some of the disciplines you've incorporated
Mhm.
into your life, right? I can think of a few that I know have made a difference in my life. So let me start, right? So um we touched on it earlier, but efforts, specific efforts. So I'm not talking
Mhm.
about just sitting, laying, and waiting for the sun to tan you, right? I'm talking about things that require energy and effort, notably charge you up. So let's say you wake up in the morning and you're at 98%, right? You're feeling pretty good, but you're just waking up, getting the white out of your eyes, right? For me, that additional 2% to get to 100 before I start my day comes from a few things. Devotion.
Mhm.
Before the sun comes up, before the noise of the home, before the energy of the home, many days before my wife Chris wakes up, I'm spending time in devotion,
Yeah.
centering my mind, setting my intentions, getting a quick burst of inspiration that helps me create a perspective for the day. Non-negotiable. It's non-negotiable. Even when I'm traveling around the world and my time zones are all jacked up and I'm sleeping at odd hours and eating at odd hours, I make sure that I'm finding the time to spend in devotion. And again, people can pick what devotion that is, how they go about that time, but that time for me is critical. Um, Second to that is reflection and meditation. And for me, this comes after devotion. So devotion is an act of taking in something that's helping me gain that perspective and light the fire. The reflection and meditation phase is second to that. It's now me sitting down and typically applying that inspiration, whatever it is that I've taken in, whether it was in the devotion or maybe even something late the day before, and me measuring myself against the standards that I'm setting. It's me having a quiet moment to look in the mirror and say, James, are you meeting your expectations for yourself? James, are you finding balance for yourself? James, are you the man you want to be right now? Are there areas of your life where you see deficits opening up? And what do I need to now do to change course to make sure those deficits don't become canyons? And for me, that time is incredibly important because, again, very typically very early, but I'm also learning to do this throughout the day because what I've learned this does for me is it helps to push back the negative thoughts and negative energies and the anxieties that may creep up throughout the day. Why? Because I recognize that I'm human. I recognize I'm not perfect. And I pause and take this time to say, James, you know what? While you're not where you want to be, you're better than you were. So let's keep figuring out how to draw the map forward for you. Right. And so that time for me is incredibly important. And I find that my not only self-awareness grows, but my self-esteem, right? We talked about value earlier. I feel my value. I remind myself, and sometimes I'm saying it verbally, I'm reminding myself of who I am, whose I am, and what I'm here to do. And that reaffirmation of mission for me is a second step to my routine of how I try to keep, the things we've been talking about at bay. And then third, and this one is tough, exercise. Now, you could tell I'm not a gym dude, so you know me. I do enough to fit into my clothes. I do enough to stay healthy, to keep up with things I need to keep up with. But here's what I've learned about exercise. It's not about how much you lift, it's about movement. Get up and move, get the blood flowing. Get all the things that were that fell asleep during the night. Get up and awake yourself in a way that not only wakes your brain up, but wakes your body up. Incredibly important. And so again, this isn't about having to go to the gym. I know for some people, early mornings aren't their jam. They don't have time. They got a lot of things going on. So again, we're talking about burnout. And for burnouts, I got too many things on my plate. Well, let me help you with this one. A few push-ups, a few squats, some light 5-pound weights, get a little bit of energy, not even a full sweat, but just enough to get your body moving, drink some water, get yourself together. And I'm telling you, the energy boost that will give you will take you further than you think into your day. How about you, Nina? How about you? What are the things that you've incorporated that have made a difference?
I told you 100% without my prayer and meditation time, first thing while the world is quiet, just like you, like I have to have it. I have to have it. It's almost like a little endorphin. Like it just, oh yes, it's like a little high that I get. And if I don't get it, it's like, dang, man, my day didn't even start right. So that's that. I definitely, James, like the idea of taking the small breaks in the middle of the day. Most times we don't breathe. Like we breathe in air, we take in air and oxygen, but we don't actually take the time to fully like breathe and fill our lungs. It's like little short breaths, but that time to just breathe 2 or 3 times, holding it and then letting it out, that reduces so many things, and it really helps to clear your mind. It helps to reset it. It helps to let you know, okay, yeah, I'm still alive, regardless of all the crazy that goes on. So I have alarms set on my phone to remind me, just like there's an alarm for me to wake up. I have an alarm for throughout the day for me to take little small breaks to just remember to go back to center, take a breath, take time to breathe. And it's every couple hours, just like, sometimes you have to remind yourself to drink water, remind yourself to go move and you've been sitting down for, a few hours. It's like, get up, go take a walk around the house, around the community, around the office, then you can come back. But movement is key, right? Breathing is key. Those things are definitely key. So meditation and prayer for sure. You said devotion. I go journaling because that allows me to put in some gratitude. That allows me to reflect, but it also allows me to think ahead. There may be ideas that come during meditation. I'm like, ooh, I don't want to forget that. Let me put it down and I'll come back to it. And then again, there's definitely exercise. The one thing that I've actually put into place is the alarm for me to go to sleep. So I genuinely I know it sounds crazy, but I genuinely put an alarm on my phone, and it's not like a vibrate alarm. It's alarm that sounds like, the other ones kind of pop up, and you can see it. No, this one is a sound. So it allows like, oh, it's time to go to bed. And
Shut it
at
down.
that point, my screen actually changes color. So it goes from vibrant to grayscale, right, on my phone. So it's
Oh,
just a straight up grayscale screen. So I don't even it's like, if even if I wanted to scroll, it's not like appealing to me to scroll, right? It's black and white, gray. And then I silence all of the noise when it comes to outside phone calls, text messages, all of that. I just put all of that on silent, and it's automatic on my phone. The only people that can get through in the evening are my children and my parents. That's it.
mm,
That's it. So I know if my phone goes off, it's one of those 5 individuals, and I then know to pick up the phone, and they know if she doesn't respond via text, I need to call her, because then I might not
yes.
hear the text ding, right? So, that's it. That's it, and my alarm goes off, I'll tell you, my alarm goes off at 4 AM, but most of the time I'm up before my alarm goes off, so I'm there, and I put my do not
Yeah.
disturb on fully when I go into prayer and meditation so no one gets through. So there's no interruption. So those are definitely some things I put into play.
Yeah, I mean, I love it. I love it. Again, now we're getting to where people are likely going to turn this video off because we're talking about the things that require the discipline, right? We're talking about managing your life. And we live in a world where go, 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 more is the order of the day. And it doesn't really matter how you're approaching things. That seems to be, the recipe. And so it is incredibly important that you have a routine, that your routine is balanced, and they are things that charge your battery up.
Mhm.
They need to require action, they need to require dedication. That's good. Those are good things, but it has to be something that charges your battery.